Good evening, ATPE members. We are so excited to see you in just a few more weeks. Coming up here for the ATPE Summit at Kalahari in Round Rock. The staff has been working so hard to plan this event, and we are just getting as excited as you are, hopefully. And we're excited to share some details with you this evening. So give me just a moment and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to just kind of walk through the an event overview so you know what is coming up day by day. So first, let's start off with Monday, July the 10th. Monday, July the 10th is when we will kick off registration. It will be opening that morning as early as 10 a.m. So those who have come in the night prior can go ahead and get your name badges and all of your credentials that you need to enjoy the event. See page down, here we go, because I need to be in share mode. Give me just a moment. So sorry, y'all. There we go. One of the things that we have opening up on Monday at 10 is the ATPE Member Lounge, and we had this last year and it was very successful. This is where we will have all of our ATPE pack silent auction items that you can go and get a sneak peek at and hopefully get excited to bid on them. We will also have some exclusive ATPE pack promo sale items. And we have included 2 of the pictures of some items that we're going to have available. These are exclusive. They are in limited quantities. So you will want to get to the lounge as soon as possible to purchase those items. But these are 2 of the items that we have: a Stanley Cup, which are super popular these days, and this super cute t-shirt about educators. Kicking off for our first opening general session is going to be our membership and marketing general session. That kicks off at 2 o'clock on Monday. We're really excited because this year we are going to be doing a live taping of the ATPE podcast. And David George, our editor, will be interviewing Kate Johans, our Marcom director, and Joy England, our membership director. And they will be answering all of your member questions about what's new coming up with the 90-day campaign and ATPE membership and recruitment. So we are very excited to do our very first live taping of the ATPE podcast that you can be a part of. We are also going to allow audience questions during that event as well. So if you think of something, you can definitely have an opportunity to ask Joy and Kate all of your burning questions about membership. Also, you will not want to miss this session because we are going to be giving away 5 $100 Kalahari gift cards that you can use during your stay at the resort. The gift cards are good for many things at the resort, including dining, any of the Tomfoolery's Adventure Park, which we'll talk a little bit about later. So you definitely want to be there because you have to be present to win, and we're giving away 5 of those, so you won't want to miss that session. After the opening general session, we will go into our volunteer training breakouts, and we have provided with to you a list of what those sessions will be this year. We are very excited about these sessions. We are going to actually be offering 2 make and take sessions this year. Many of you may have participated in our make and take session in the past, and it's always very popular and the room is always very full. So we decided to offer 2 of those this year. One will be geared more towards campus level recruitment for your campus reps, and the other would be like more one-on-one recruitment with individuals. So the content will be slightly different, but there'll be 2 opportunities. We also have sessions related to our brand standards, working with your administration, leadership lessons. It's going to be great content, so you won't want to miss attending one of these sessions. After volunteer training, we will go straight into our opening keynote speaker, Monica Genta. We are very excited to have Monica with us this year. She is a fellow educator. and she brings a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and she has a few words to share with you. So I'm going to play her video now for you.
Education deserves to be celebrated because every single day that we walk into our school, there are little moments of awesome. My name is Monica Genta, and I am a classroom teacher, education author, and speaker, and I want to celebrate awesome with you this July. I am so excited to be hanging out with Texas educators at the ATPE conference, where I'm going to be doing the opening keynote, and we're going to get things kicked off with enthusiasm, motivation, ideas, and most importantly, a reminder of why we do what we do every single day. As teachers and educators and principals and paras and literally anybody who walks into a school, we are passionate about our profession because we know that we are teaching and reaching kids on a daily basis. I want to officially invite you to join me at this epic conference that is being hosted at the Kalahari Resort. That is going to be so stinking fun. I think that when we come together and celebrate education, really powerful things happen. So come and remind yourself why we do what we do on a daily basis. Let's come and celebrate awesome together.
She's done great. I'm really excited to see her speak to you all. Her message is just so wonderful. She is also going to be doing a keynote book signing, and we will have books available for sale. The book signing will occur in the ballroom where she spoke. The books will be $20 each, and it is a debit card, credit card only to purchase the book. And we'll have staff there to help facilitate the book signing. Monica has said she is wonderful. She loves to hear from all of you, to share your stories, take pictures. She is really, really great about that, and she's looking forward to this with you. So we hope that you'll stop by and purchase a book and share a few words with her. For those of you who have purchased a ticket to the Under the Stars welcome reception, that will be occurring Monday evening at 8 p.m. It is kind of like an indoor-outdoor event. Kalahari has an event barn, so part of the event will be taking place in the barn, and it will also be spilling out onto the lawn space. So we are trying to tell people to dress comfortably. It is summer and it will be hot, even though it's 8 p.m. It'll be dusk, so it will be cooling down a little bit, but we want y'all to be comfortable because we have the Spasmatics, which if you've never seen them, they are absolutely fantastic. They are a very high energy 80s band, tribute band, and they are lots of fun. They will keep you on your feet the entire time. So like I said, dress comfortably. We will also have some photo stations. We have some really fun photo booths in store for y'all this year that we've never had before. So we're excited for you to see those. We will have food and drinks available, not complimentary, it's included with the ticket, I should say. I would say don't count on this as being like dinner. We will have more savory and sweet bites since it starts at 8. It's kind of past dinner time. There'll still be plenty of food, but it's not going to be like heavy hors d'oeuvres or heavy appetizers. You might see this cute little logo we have on the bottom about the ATPE alpacas. We have a very special photo booth in store for you with these adorable alpacas. And so I don't want to share too much about them because we can't wait for you to see them, but I have a feeling it's going to go gangbusters on social media. If you haven't purchased a ticket to this event, you can still do so. You just need to contact summit@atpe.org and we can take care of adding that ticket for you. It's $60 per person, and we hope to see you there. We're very excited about this. Tuesday, let's talk about Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun as well. Tuesday, we are kicking things off with a complimentary light breakfast. We will be including breakfast tacos and coffee for our members this year. So I know that was something y'all were really excited about having or wishing you could have last year was some coffee. So we have added that, and then also a breakfast taco. After breakfast, we will kick things off with our legislative update from the governmental relations team. They have a lot to share with you about this current legislative session that just happened, and probably a few little insights about what's coming up with the current special session and more special sessions more than likely to come. But let's listen to some words that Mark has to share with us.
Hi, it's ATPE Senior Lobbyist Mark Wiggins. The 2023 ATPE Summit, July 10th through 12th at Kalahari Resorts in Round Rock, is fast approaching, and we're all holding our breath with the Texas legislature in the first of what's expected to be many special sessions. You don't want to miss the Governmental Relations Department update, where we'll talk you through all of that and the fight ahead, as well as the big wins and losses of the regular legislative session that just came to a close. July is right around the corner, and there's no telling what could happen between now and then. We'll talk about all of it when we see you at the 2023 ATPE Summit.
In addition to the GR team giving an update, we will also be recognizing our advocacy award winners this year during that general session. So you definitely won't want to miss that. Next, the big House of Delegates Day. House of Delegates will start in the morning. We have scheduled the HOD meeting kind of similar to what we've done the last couple of years. In the morning, we will have the candidate speeches. Then we will go into region caucuses and a lunch break period. During that break period and region caucus period, we will open up the ballots for state officer elections, and we will be doing it the same way that we did it last year. It'll be an electronic email ballot that comes to you. We do have, and we will have staff on site to assist should anyone not have received the email ballot or not have a mobile device that is friendly to receive that on site. We do have other ways to ensure that people can still vote even if they don't have the mobile device. So that will be happening. And then in the afternoon, we will come back and we will finish our business. We will be going into the legislative program and committee reports, and we will be announcing our state officer candidate winners. And then we will wrap up with some other special recognitions that we do in that event. Jennifer is going to come on here in just a little bit, and she's going to go into more detail about HOD and make sure that everyone is prepared with how the business will run that day. Tuesday evening is an evening for you and your fellow ATP members to enjoy time with one another and time at the resort. There are many things to do at the resort if you would like to partake in any of those. I'm sure you've all seen it's one of the largest, it is actually the largest indoor water park in the state of Texas. They have many other fun things to do as well, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Wednesday is our last day, and we will kick off that morning also with another complimentary light breakfast for attendees. We have breakfast sandwiches and coffee once again for attendees that morning. Then we will go into our professional learning breakouts. We have 2 time slots this year for those breakouts. And as you can see here up on the screen, these are many of the topics that we have available for you to choose from. We are really excited. We have some curated content from our own ATPE members. We also have some content provided by some of our association partners like TCEA, TAGT, and It's Time Texas. And we're just really excited to be providing these opportunities to continue to learn and grow as educators at this event. Then we're going to close it off with our closing keynote from Jim, the Rookie Morris. Many of you have probably seen the movie The Rookie many years ago, and the movie was inspired by Jim's true story. And Kate and I had the pleasure and opportunity to speak with him the other day, and he is just an absolute delight. And I cannot wait for all of you to hear Jim's message. It's going to be incredible. Jim has also kindly agreed to do a keynote book signing for us. He will be selling his book for $20. Similar to Monica, it will be credit card or debit card only. And he has generously agreed to stay until he has signed everybody's book who was waiting in line, and take pictures and talk and share stories with y'all. And so we are really excited for you to hear his story. I'm now going to turn it over to Jennifer to talk about HOD.
Thanks, Andrea, and good afternoon, everybody. I am going to share my screen and show you some slides for our HOD orientation. If you are new to the House of Delegates, or maybe you've been before and you just need a refresher, this is sort of a crash course on what happens during the HOD. But I don't want you to worry if we go a little fast today and you think you might miss something. We are recording this session. We'll have it available if you want to go back and watch it. And we also have a number of other resources that will give you similar content. Let's see, get my slide to advance. We are not advancing for some reason. There we go. So one of these resources is the Summit mobile app. This will be available next week. We're just putting the finishing touches on it right now, but you'll find tutorials in there. You'll find all the documents related to the summit and the House of Delegates meeting that you can study. You can go now or at any time to atpesummit.org to find many resources there. And finally, we'll have the HOD workbook. That is going to be something you receive at Summit when you check in, and it's going to have a ton of information in it, so you'll want to check that out. Now, what is the House of Delegates? If you're new, it's a policymaking body for ATPE. Meets once a year. The delegates are selected to represent the rest of the members from all over the state, and they're going to be electing our state officers for next year and voting on other business that relates to ATPE's policies, our legislative program, etc. I'm not going to talk a lot about delegate certification. We do have delegates certified by local unit presidents, and we also have some at-large delegates who are certified at the region level. Some people are automatic delegates, for instance, if they're an ATPE past state president. But the delegate certification deadline was June 9th, so that has already passed. If you are not registered but still interested, you can still be registered as a non-voting attendee of the summit, but the certification deadline is passed. If there is a need to substitute somebody, you need to put an alternate in place. Your president can do that up until July 4th. Now let's look at the types of business the HOD will be voting on. The very first thing that will happen is we'll adopt our standing rules. These are rules for parliamentary procedure, how we'll conduct debate. They are unique to this HOD meeting, and anything that's not addressed in those standing rules, we go by Robert's Rules of Order, and we will have a professional parliamentarian on hand to assist. The next business mostly consists of reports from our standing committees on resolutions and legislative, but there can also be other main motions that might get filed at the summit. Let's talk a little bit about resolutions. The committee report contains several different types of resolutions. The first will be standing resolutions. These are philosophical statements that don't change very often. They are treated as an addendum to our bylaws, and they reflect long-standing positions, core values of the association, if you will. But you'll have a chance to vote on re-adopting those. Then there are current resolutions. So if a delegate comes to Summit and files a resolution that they want ATPE to look at next year, those have a one-year lifespan. It might be something for the board of directors to study. It might be something for a standing committee to look at. But that has a one-year lifespan. And then when we come to the next HOD, the resolution would expire at that point. Occasionally, there might be a motion to renew it for another year, but usually these are one-year resolutions, often calling for a study. They might result in an addition to the legislative program or something that becomes a little more permanent. So we don't have any current resolutions that were adopted last year. So there won't be any of those held over for you to consider. We customarily do an honorary resolution for our outgoing state past president, so you'll be voting on that. And for all of these, you will see recommendations from the committee and from the board of directors. So that's them offering their advice on how the HOD should vote on these. Then you have the legislative program. This is a statement of the association's positions on a host of issues, everything from educator certification to class size to Social Security. So we have 39 positions in the program, and these do change pretty frequently. This is a living, breathing document. So every year it's getting updated based on what's happening in the field, what concerns you have as an educator, and you have a chance to shape this document. This is the document that tells our lobbyists what to do. It is how they determine if they're going to take a position on a bill during the legislative session, if there's a need for us to go to TEA and try to get a new rule implemented. All of that is based on the legislative program that our members write and our HOD adopts every year. Unfinished business, we don't usually have. That's more for entities that meet more than once a year. New business we might have if somebody comes and pre-files a motion. This is typically something that's not related to one of the legislative reports or the resolutions. So this might be, the example we often use is, I move that ATPE consider holding the ATPE Summit at Disney World. So that would be an example of a main motion. So that might be something that would come up. That is the sort of thing that would be pre-filed. We're going to talk about our pre-filing requirements. These are imposed by the board of directors. And this is saying that if you're going to propose something brand new, you're going to need to pre-file that the day before the HOD meeting. This gives everybody notice of what they're going to be voting on, an opportunity to talk about it, to get additional information, and just be prepared for that vote. So on Monday, July 10th, there is an opportunity to visit the pre-file table from 11 a.m. to 3:30. And you can visit with an ATPE lobbyist, an ATPE attorney, and we'll have an editor who can offer suggestions on grammar or just how to make your motion and your rationale statement sound the most effective. So we'll help you write all those things up, and all of your motions have to be submitted by 3:30 p.m. that day. Even if you already know what you're going to submit, you don't need to consult with anybody. You still want to come by the table and get that pre-filed by 3:30. That's our deadline. I already mentioned the workbook. You'll be picking this up at registration. This is just an example of some of the information you'll see. So it's going to go over, how do you pre-file something? How do you amend something while the meeting is going on? How do you request the floor? You'll also see that reference chart that shows what the committees and the board are recommending. We are going to be making sure you are a certified registered voting delegate, so you will have a badge and a red lanyard to indicate your status, and we'll be checking that. Now, throughout the day, we're going to take different types of votes. There is a voice vote where if you're in favor, say aye. If you're against it, say no. But sometimes we do a standing vote. All those in favor, please rise. All those against, please rise. If you are unable to stand, we do have these signs, for and against signs, that you can pick up at the information booth. Andrea already talked about the agenda a little bit, but just to go over how this works out during the day. We start at 9:45. There's a certification report that's telling us how many people we have there, how many voting delegates. Then we adopt those standing rules and the HOD agenda. We open the floor for nominations. We already have a slate of candidates who filed to run, but it is possible for somebody to run from the floor. So there's an opportunity to throw your name, throw your hat in the ring, even if you didn't sign up before. And immediately after we close nominations, we hear speeches from each of the candidates. Then we take a recess. It will be shortly, right around 11 o'clock or shortly before 11 o'clock. And that's when we open the voting for the state officers. We'll talk a little bit more about the voting process in a moment, but you want to make sure you vote by 2 p.m. And we're also going to be having region caucuses happening from 11:30 to 12:30. So each region gets together It's an opportunity to look at the business that's going to be voted on that afternoon, or just to talk about any business that might be going on in your region. And you can find the location of where your caucus is meeting on the mobile app when we launch that next week. Then you'll have an extended lunch period, plenty of time to find something great to eat, and we'll come back at 2:30 p.m. We'll start the debate and the voting on resolutions, the legislative program, any new business. In the event there has to be a runoff election, that would happen in the afternoon. Then we share the election results and we close out the day with an officer induction ceremony. So for the state officers, you can see the candidates who've already filed on the Summit website. There will also be a spread with their information in the HOD workbook. As I mentioned before, you can file to run from the floor, but then at 11 o'clock, if you're a voting delegate, you're going to receive an email with your link to the secure website where you'll cast your vote, and you'll want to do that by 2 p.m. So you've got plenty of time to get your vote done. Like I said, we don't expect a runoff this year. We only have 2 candidates in 1 contested race. So the only way this would happen is if we had several people file to run from the floor. Again, not likely, but if it happened, the president would give you early warning. She would say, we're going to have a runoff. It's going to happen in 15 minutes. And then you would get another email with the link to vote. There's something new this year. Our board made a change to our bylaws, something that was recommended by our parliamentarian, to say that if a candidate is unopposed, we don't have to go through the vote and we can just declare them to be elected. So for instance, Jerica Liggins, she's running unopposed right now for state secretary. If nobody files to run from the floor, we will just consider her to have been elected. And so you won't see her on the ballot when you go to vote. Let's talk a little bit about speaking from the floor. If you want to speak, you will go to a microphone. We have 4 microphones stationed throughout the room. And you're going to go there and you'll see some signs. There are staff people there to help you. And you're going to pick one of the signs and hold it up over your head. And the reason we do that is because it's a very large room. It's pretty dark. When you're up on stage, it's kind of hard to see what's happening out in the audience. And so we want to make sure the president can see that you're out there trying to get her attention and you're wanting to speak. So you'll wait until she says, the chair recognizes microphone B, and then that's you. And you can state what your intent is. You always want to introduce yourself first. We'll go over that a little bit more in just a moment. So what about these signs? Here are the different signs you'll see when you go to the microphone. You have for and against. So if there's a motion on the floor, you like it, you don't like it, you want to say something about it, hold up one of those signs. If you want to amend something that's on the floor, you can hold up that motion to amend and say, I want to file a motion to amend. And you could do that. There's something called a request for information. This is just if you have a question. Let's say there's a term in the motion and you aren't sure what it means, or there's an acronym and you just need some clarification. You can hold up this sign just to ask a question. This is not when you want to debate. This is just for asking a question. There's something called a point of order. This is something you would hold up if you think there's been a mistake. You know, you're really on the spot following the parliamentary procedure and the rest of us have spaced out for some reason. You could hold this up and say, Madam President, I think we forgot to vote on that last amendment. And we could correct that. So that's what point of order is. If you're thinking that the vote count wasn't right or something like that, that's when you would hold up point of order. This is not something that you hold up when you want to make a point. If you have an opinion on the motion and you want to say something about it, you would want to hold up the for or against signs to debate that. Point of order is just for parliamentary issues or challenging the ruling of the chair. There's something called the previous question motion. This is a way to end debate. If you think we've been having a lot of back and forth, for and against, it's gone on too long, everything's been said, we need to go ahead and vote on this. You can hold up that motion for previous question. You do have to have another person second the motion. And if the chair believes there's been enough debate, she'll say, okay, that motion is in order. Everybody who's in favor of ending debate right now, please stand. If you're against ending debate, please stand. And so we would either, depending on how that vote goes, we either keep debating the underlying motion or we would move to an immediate vote on the underlying motion. I want to take a quick note to mention, if you do have questions about any of these, feel free to put them in the Q&A and we'll address those at the end. Debate reminders, anytime you're going to speak, you always want to wait to be recognized by the president, but you want to give your name, your region, your local unit if you have one, or you can say you're an at-large delegate, and you want to say, I'm speaking on behalf of myself. That's most typical. Or if your region has said, hey, we want you to be our spokesperson on this, you could say, I'm speaking on behalf of Region 21. Very important, there is a 3-minute time limit for debate. So you have 3 minutes to state your case. There is a timer that the president will see, and once that runs out, they will cut you off. We already talked about the pre-file table where you can pre-file motions on Monday. There's a similar setup during the HOD meeting up right next to the stage that you will see the motion review table. It also has the staff members, the lobbyist, the attorney, the editor. And so if you are filing a motion during the HOD, they can assist you with that. Your motion would get logged and then it would be in line for consideration. However, we mentioned this before, your floor motions cannot propose substantively new business. Your floor motions can only be incidental, subsidiary, or privileged motions. I know that's, kind of getting into some parliamentary lingo there. You don't need to know all the details on that. You can read more about this in the HOD workbook when you get it. But basically, the motions you could file during the day would be things like a motion to reconsider the vote, a motion for the previous question, like we just talked about, or a motion to amend something that's on the floor right then. So if something is being debated right then and you want to make an amendment, you want to offer an amendment on the spot, here's what you would do. You would go immediately to the microphone and hold up that amend sign. And when they call on you, you say, Madam President, I want to amend this motion that we're talking about right now. And she'll say, come on down to the front. You'll come to the motion review table. The staff will help you write out your motion. You need to have another voting delegate there to second it, and they'll sign the form as well. And then you'll go back to the microphone and get ready to present your motion to the full House. Another thing we do during the HOD is we often consider business as a block. So you will see this on the committee recommendations. For example, the legislative program has 39 positions in it. It would take a long time if we took a debate and had a separate vote on all 39 of those. So we often present them as a single motion up front to adopt the whole block. But if you want the House to discuss something particular in that block, or you want, let's say you want to make an amendment or you are against it, you can ask for that to be pulled out of the block. So when that happens, we vote on the block first, and then we discuss and vote on anything that was pulled out of the block, and we do those one at a time. So for example, in the Resolutions Committee report, the committee is presenting 13 standing resolutions. There's going to be a motion from the committee chair to adopt all 13 of those at one time. But if there's one of them you don't like, or you think we need to change, you could ask for that to be pulled out of the block. So the president will say, if you want to pull something from the block, come to the microphone now. And that's your opportunity. We mentioned before, the report contains the standing resolutions. There are no current resolutions this year. There is the honorary resolution for the past president. And then the pre-filed resolutions, if there are any, those would be considered last. And I can't show you what those are because they don't exist yet. The pre-filing happens Monday, July 10th. During that time period, if something gets filed, we will type it up, we will put it on atpesummit.org, and we will load it into the ATPE Summit app. So by Monday night, you'll be able to go onto the app or onto the website and look and see if something's been pre-filed, and you can read that motion and read the rationale behind it. Again, with the legislative committee, that's going to be presented as a block, all 39 positions. But let's say you're interested in student testing and you think we need to talk about student testing, you could ask for that particular position to be pulled out of the block. The debate procedures are exactly the same as during resolutions. You have 3 minutes. You want to go to the microphone, hold up a sign, wait to be recognized, and introduce yourself. Just a few helpful hints. I can't stress enough how valuable it's going to be for you to read through that HOD workbook when you get it. But if you're wanting to learn more in the meantime, or you want to take a look at our FAQs, you can go to atpesummit.org. I also want to remind you about that pre-filing requirement. Anything that is substantively new, you're going to want to pre-file that by the Monday, July 10th, 3:30 p.m. deadline. And the pre-file table, it's going to be there outside the ballroom in registration booth 7. And there will be signage where you can find it. Another tip is attend your region caucus. This is, if you're a first timer, this is a great opportunity to talk to some of the veterans who've been to Summit before. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And also you'll see ATPE staff running around all over the convention center, and we want to help you. So don't hesitate to ask us any questions you have. And then lastly, listen to the chair. There's going to be a lot going on. It can get confusing, but if you just listen to the chair, you'll be able to follow along and know exactly what we're doing. And of course, always be courteous and professional. We pride ourselves at ATPE on our professionalism, and that carries through to when we're at the HOD and debate is happening. So I'm going to turn it back over to Andrea to go over some more tips for the summit, and then we'll have time for some Q&A. Andrea?
Yes, let me share my screen. All righty. So I know many of y'all have had some burning questions about Kalahari and all of the things that you can do and what to expect. And hopefully I'm going to cover some of those things here with you. If I don't cover something that you're really wanting to know about, please do put that in the Q&A so that we can try to address those for you. So first, let's talk about kind of the check-in and the checkout and just some of the things that you'll find when you get to the resort. Check-in is at 4 p.m. and checkout is at 11 a.m. However, one of the really great things about Kalahari is they advertise that you can come early and you can stay late. And what they mean by that is they know that people probably want to come to take advantage of the water park or the adventure park that's on site, and you can do that. So you can get there prior to 4 o'clock. You could get there at 8 o'clock in the morning if you wanted to, your day of check-in. You would be allowed to go to the front desk, check in. Now, your room likely won't be ready at that time, but you can check in. You can go ahead and get your wristbands, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And then you can go ahead and go access the water park. You can go have some fun. And the same is true on your day of checkout. So checkout's at 11 a.m. But if you want to stay because you're just still having so much fun, you are welcome to stay and enjoy those amenities up until they close on your day of checkout. Typically, the water park closes, the indoor water park closes at 9, and the adventure park closes a little past 9 p.m. that night. So that is a great benefit, especially if some of y'all are just want to go and have fun, or if some of you might be bringing any friends or family with you to enjoy the resort. They do say they recommend to pack a small, just like a travel size bag, so that you can have a change of clothes. Because like I said, more than likely your room would not be ready if you get there really early prior to the 4 p.m. check-in time. But you are welcome to do that, so you have something to change into. They do have changing rooms and bathrooms right outside of the water park, so you can easily change your clothes. It is a cashless resort. So this is something that a lot of hotels are going to. What they mean by that is there is literally no cash that is exchanged at the resort. Everything is done electronically through your credit and debit cards. They do take all major forms of credit cards and debit cards, as well as Apple Pay and Google Pay. One of the really unique things about the resort is they have an RFID wristband. So at check-in, each guest for your room will receive a wristband. It's an RFID wristband. You will want to wear that wristband throughout your entire stay. The wristband is your key to your door of your sleeping room. You can also charge any items at the resort on the wristband. So if you're getting food or if you're purchasing any items in the gift shop, you can literally just charge them from your wristband, and you don't have to carry around a credit card or debit card, which is very nice and convenient. Of course, you might want to use a little bit of caution with that, especially because you guys are all traveling as local units and regions, and you don't necessarily want everyone to go crazy with charging things to the room per se. So if you don't want to charge it on the wristband, like your food or a gift that you purchased, you don't have to do that. You can still use a debit card or a credit card or Apple Pay or Google Pay to purchase items within the resort. Okay, next, let's talk about the water park. Everybody who is staying at the resort, your access to the water park is included with your room. So you can get up to 4 wristbands for each room. The number of wristbands you receive is dependent upon the number of people that are staying in your room, right? So if there's only 2 of you, you only need 2 wristbands. I would like to stress, as I always try to do, to make sure that you are putting the name of every single person who is staying in the room, in each room on that reservation prior to arrival, because it's going to make your check-in process easier. But that way also the resort knows how many people are staying in the room and how many wristbands should be handed out at check-in. The indoor water park, oops, I think there's just a slight little typo on here that I missed, but the indoor water park opens at 10 and it typically closes at about 9 p.m. every day. It can vary day by day, but summertime is their peak time at the resort, so they keep it open as late as possible, which is 9 p.m. There is also an outdoor water park. The outdoor water park is only accessible to those who are staying at the resort. So it is an exclusive benefit to those who are staying. Also, the resort has been working on expanding the outdoor water park. Since the hotel has been open, they have realized how quickly Texas weather is pretty good year-round most of the time, and so they have actually expanded it, and it is set to open, my fingers are crossed, the week prior to our event. So if everything goes well, you guys will be able to take advantage of all of the new outdoor amenities as well as the indoor amenities. The outdoor park does close at 7 because they are just, thoughtful about noise carrying up into sleeping rooms and things like that. So that part does close earlier than the indoor park. Besides the water park, they do also have what I have called the adventure park. It's Tom Foolery's Adventure Park. I like to think of this as like a Dave and Buster's explosion to the max on steroids. They have a lot of games that you can play. They also have some indoor rides. They have a little kind of like mini roller coaster. They have ropes courses. That is an additional cost. That is not included with your sleeping room cost. So that is an additional cost. There is a way that you can kind of save a little bit of money if you really want to take advantage of some of these perks. So the tickets to Tom Foolery's Adventure Park are exclusively for the ride access. So the little roller coaster that I mentioned, the ropes course. They also have some like smaller rides for kiddos, smaller kiddos, that you do need a ticket for. All of the different games like you would see if you go to Mr. Gaddy's or any of those fun little pizza places for kiddos. They have lots of games that you can play as well. You don't have to purchase a ticket to Tom Foolery's to take advantage of playing those games. You can just purchase a game card, and you can put funds on the game card, and then you can go play the games. So that's kind of one way to save a little bit, or you can totally skip this altogether. It's a little bit like a Vegas atmosphere, as I've told some of the staff, because you literally have to walk through the adventure park to get to the water park, right? It's like going to Vegas and you have to walk through the casino to get to your sleeping room. Same kind of thought there, but you don't have to participate in the adventure park if that's not of interest to you, or you just don't want to spend the funds. Okay, let's talk about a couple other things. Parking at the resort is complimentary. So self-parking, I should say, is complimentary. They do have valet parking. Valet is $39.99 plus tax per day. I really wouldn't recommend the valet. I mean, it's nice, you know, but it's a way to save money to just self-park. There isn't a parking garage. The resort has just open surface lot parking. They have plenty of parking, plenty. So I recommend just taking advantage of the self-parking, and that way you can save some funds that way. They do have many dining options on property. They have a Mexican restaurant, an Italian restaurant, a steakhouse. They have some grab and go options like at a Starbucks. They have, you know, like burgers and pizza at the water park. They have soups and salads to go at some places as well. The pricing varies greatly. So they have everything like grab and go options for as little as like $5 to $10. And then they have everything up to like a really, really nice steakhouse, which if you're wanting to pay that, you're more than welcome to do that, but that's one of their more expensive dining options. I've been trying to share some of what I am referring to as like my cost saving tips, because there are a lot of ways that you can actually save money and not have to worry about being tied down to only using the on-site venues for dining and things like that. So each hotel room, this is fantastic, each hotel room has a mini fridge and a microwave. So I've been trying to tell people to bring all of your own beverages that you want to bring. Then you don't even have to worry about, you know, buying a bottled drink that's $4 each, right? Just bring all of the beverages that you think you would want. You can stock them in your mini fridge and have them ready to go. There is also the microwave. So if you want to bring any like microwavable soups or things like that, you can do that as well. Also bring your own snacks. There's plenty of space in the sleeping rooms to store snacks. So you can just stick a little snack in your tote bag that you'll get at registration. You know, just keep your energy going for the day. So definitely take advantage of those things. There is more information about all of the dining options on site, as well as all of the adventure park and the water park information at this website here that we've listed, kalahariresorts.com/Texas. I will also say, unlike last year at the Gaylord, you maybe felt a little bit landlocked where we were with the hotel. The great thing about where Kalahari is, right along the highway, that it's located off of, up and down the highway within a 5-mile radius, you have a wide variety of restaurants that you can choose from that would take you 5 to 10 minutes, if not less, to go to and come back to from the resort. So we have everything from, you know, Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, up to nicer sit-down restaurants like Mas Fajitas, Tony C's Pizza, Cork and Barrel. It's like a really fun Irish pub. There's great options all up and down the highway. Like I said, 5 to 10 minutes away. So we've got plenty of places to go eat, and again, not be worried about having to pay the cost of a on-site dining option. That is all that I had to share. So I will stop sharing my screen and I'll turn it over to Kate for some Q&A.
Well, we have a couple more quizzes, so let's do those before we do Q&A. And I just want to remind everyone that if you do have questions, to please put them in the Q&A, and we will get to those in a second. So here's our first questions. So please scan the QR code and go ahead and answer. We'll give it a minute and then I will show the correct answer. I think everyone's going to get this right because they were paying such good attention during the presentation. Okay, I think we can stop this one. It is obviously Madam President. So, oh, someone put, hey, Stacy. I wonder if Jimmy Lee's on. That seems like how he would answer, but this one's a little trickier. The next question. Give everyone a moment. Okay, y'all are star students. That is correct. You would want to pre-file. If it is a new motion, that needs to get pre-filed. If you wanted to amend a motion, a legislative position, you could do that at the motion review table. But if you want to have a totally new position, that would need to go to pre-file. And then last, this is from Andrea's section, very important. Okay, and this one does have a little bit of a twist to it because you can actually give two answers. So there are two correct answers. Kalahari does not accept cash, but they do accept credit and debit cards, and you can charge things to your RFID wristband. But if the credit card tied to your reservation is a local unit credit card or your friend's credit card, we don't recommend that. So just be very aware before you go, oh, because it'd be pretty easy to just go charge those coffees and Cokes and things like that. So we do have a few questions in the Q&A, and I encourage people to keep listing those if they have them. We will stay here as long as it takes. So the first question from Evelyn, can we order the promos that we showed now instead of waiting? And these would be those fabulous pack items. So I would like Andrea, Jennifer, which of you would like to take this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until you get there to order those. We will also be having the silent auction. The auction may open up a little earlier. Don't know yet exactly when we're going to have all of the packages ready to go on that, but you will want to wait until Summit to visit the member lounge and purchase those items.
Yes, but we will let you know ahead of time what they are and how much they cost, except for our special surprise item during the available only during the Under the Stars welcome reception. So Christy Skinner from Region 5 asks, any new advice for new regional directors to prepare for the summit?
Yeah, that's a great question, Christy. One thing we do is we create something called the caucus guide, and we'll be sharing that with all the region presidents and directors. So that will give you a lot of information about HOD and how to run your caucus. As far as what to expect if you're new to this, obviously reach out to your fellow members on the board. They can offer lots of advice. Feel free to come to staff as well. We're always happy to answer any questions.
Absolutely. Isela asks, she says that no one else from her local unit is planning to attend. Is it okay for her to put her adult daughter on the hotel reservation? And can she pay, can her daughter attend the Under the Stars?
Yes, great question. So yes, your daughter could certainly share the room with you. That's not a problem. I would just recommend that you put her name on the reservation. The easiest way to do that is to reach out to our housing bureau. They can easily assist with adding her name to the reservation if it's not currently on there. You can email the bureau at ATPE@chmrooms.com. And we could probably also put the 1-800 number in the chat. Kate, if you wouldn't mind helping me, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. But yes, they will assist you with that. And then, yes, she could certainly attend the welcome reception. Just reach out to summit@atpe.org and I can arrange adding the ticket and getting her name in the system so that she may attend that. It is $60 per person. And yes, we can do that prior to the event. I should have said earlier, we are also going to be selling a limited number of tickets to the reception on site at the summit. It will be limited number because I have to kind of account for how much food to put into the guarantees to the hotel. But we will also, if you don't get a chance prior to the event to add the ticket, we will have some limited quantities available on site.
Excellent. So our next question, Ron asks, do the rooms have Keurig machines?
I can actually answer this.
Okay.
I just like trying to remember.
Yeah, having stayed there fairly recently, there is a mini coffee machine in the room, but it's the kind that has the little filter that you put in the basket. It was not a Keurig.
Yeah, I think it's little pouches that they have in the room. But you could definitely,
you can bring your Keurig if you're a Keurig fiend.
Or you could pack little Ziploc baggies of your coffee if you have a specific brand that you like. It's a very comfortable room. Lots of space. Jessica asks, is there a map of the resort and specifically what room the summit will be in?
Yes, there is a map of the resort. You can actually access that now if you are interested at the Kalahari website. Their website has a ton of information, but also you will see once the Summit mobile app is launched, we are including on their maps of the meeting space. The hotel has a convention center side. So the convention center side of the hotel is on the complete other side from where the water park is. They designed it purposefully that way, very smart on their part. But yes, we will have maps about where the meeting space is. We pretty much have the entire convention center just to ATPE. We're very fortunate because there are not any other groups in-house during our meeting. So there are 2 levels and we will be located on both levels of the convention center.
And we will, next week when the Summit app goes live, we'll reach out to attendees again and let y'all know. And we'll also include, in yesterday's email promoting this webinar, we had a link if you wanted to submit questions for the membership and marketing podcast taping. So we'll include that link again next week. And then we'll also, the week before the summit, you'll receive a very comprehensive know before you go email. So that will also be very helpful. Another question from Jana, who should we be in contact with about transportation and room assignments if we are registered for the summit as an at-large member and not through a local unit?
Excellent question. You should get in contact with your region president because region presidents are responsible for registering at-large delegates for the summit. So whoever your region president is who you need to reach out to. If you need to, if you're not sure who that is, you are welcome to reach out to us and we will help you get in contact with your region president.
Okay, those are all the questions we have for now. So I know we're coming up right on an hour, but we certainly very happy to answer questions at any time. summit@atpe.org is the email address that goes directly to Andrea. Not to put the pressure on her, but she is always quick to answer those questions and to get them to the right person if it's not her. And like I said, we'll be sending out a ton more information the week before the summit and also an update next week as well. So we're so excited to see you. Countdown. Oh, we got one. Can you attend the water park if you are not staying at the hotel? This is from a local member.
Yes, so it's a little bit of a several part question in some ways. So yes, you can, but the caveat is that you have to pay a fee to access the water park. You can purchase those tickets on their website. They have a couple of different options available for that. There's like a ticket for all day access. There's also a ticket with a reduced fee that is for access after 5 p.m. And all of those options are on the website. So part of the benefit of staying at the hotel is that the water park is included with your stay. But yes, they do sell tickets to like the general public and, you know, people who aren't staying at the hotel, but there is a cost for that.
And Andrea, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember hearing about this when we visited the resort. So the rooms can hold up to 6 people, and you're automatically allowed to have 4 wristbands, 4 admissions to the water park in your room, but you can add up to 2 more. So the cost for that, I believe, is $50, which is less than the price of the day pass at the water park. So for those of you who are local, you know, if you can hook up with somebody who is staying at the hotel and add yourself on their room, even if you're not actually sleeping there, that might be a way you could save a little bit of money, right, Andrew?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And like we said earlier, Kate said it, the rooms are very roomy. So each room comes with 2 queen size beds and a queen size pull-out sleeper sofa. So you can definitely easily accommodate 3 people if you nobody wanted to share a bed. We certainly understand that. But you can definitely sleep up to 6 potentially. And then yes, up to 4 is included with the rate. And the additional 2 would be $50 each, but then you would get access to the water park that way.
But even $20 at Tomfoolery's is a lot of fun. That's how much I allotted myself the time I visited. So it was a great time. My personal tip, go with the virtual tickets. Don't go with the physical tickets. That was a rookie mistake. So
my favorite tip is packing a day bag for the water park, because if you get there before check-in time, just leave all your luggage in your car. It's very secure. It's well lighted. It's going to be during the day anyhow. And just take your day bag, your water park bag with your essentials in there, your sunscreen and your credit card, and go have fun at the water park. They have lockers, they have changing rooms. It's really a nice perk that they let you enjoy that before check-in and after checkout.
there's bowling too.
Yep.
There is bowling. Bowling is an additional cost as well, but it is fun, and the restaurant where the bowling is actually really good. It's a great place to get like burgers and these huge milkshakes that are kind of off the chart crazy, but it's a very great place to go visit.
Yeah, it's a really great place. We're gonna have a great time there. So okay, well, no one else's question is coming. I see Sean is suggesting an impromptu bowling tournament, so we will let y'all worry about that. But for now, have a good evening, and I will definitely send region presidents an attendee list tomorrow. I know some of you were curious who all had been at the session for your region purposes. So we will do that, and we will see y'all in just a few weeks at Kalahari.
See you soon.
Everybody.
Bye.